Welcome back to Full Circle with Mwikali. Like I said earlier, this particular time of the year, men are under so much pressure to perform, overperform, wasemekane, waliweza, their girls to be proud of themselves. So there's a bit of pressure right there. And we're talking about the authentic manhood around this time. And to have this conversation with us is executive coach at the Delve Limited, George Ngugi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mwikali. Thank you for having me.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. I don't seem to have anything red, but you're representing us.
Yes, and the couch.
Yes,
we are
yes,
good.
yes, we are good.
We're good.
Excellent. It's really great to be here today.
Karibu sana.
And the topic is so in tune for the season. It's definitely in tune for the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what is, well, we all agree there's a bit of pressure right here, right now.
A bit?
There's a bit. Oh, well, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure. And we've seen stingy men associations zikitokelezea and wako, we don't care. Last year we had the men's conference. I don't know if it's still loud this year. You know, like there's a lot going on.
Yes.
So how then are we supposed to protect the men who feel like, saizi, kuna venye sitaweza ama naweza ama I'm not even sure.
Can we just delete this week from the calendar? I know some people who are thinking like, can we just delete this week from the calendar?
Delete it.
Well, that's a very good reflection. I think we'll just get right into it.
Yes.
The thing about being a man, first of all, I have to say, it's not easy being a man. So I want to represent all the men out there. It's not easy being a man. I'll be the first one to admit it, and many have admitted it.
Yeah.
Or at least now I begin to admit it. And that's okay, because that's the first level of authenticity. When you say, you know what, I'm actually, first of all, you know, it doesn't come with a manual. Neither has it been easy being a woman, you know.
No, it's not.
It's adulting. Being a grown-up person
Yeah.
who is actually responsible of yourself and the lives of people around you is not easy. However, it's what we've been called to. So I want to just go back into that and just put that out. First of all, it's not easy being a man. Where we are today in society, let me take it way back.
Okay.
Is actually tied to a man, the first man,
Yes.
Adam, of course. And of course, because he probably did not do a couple of things he should have done when he was, you know, like literally given lordship and power and dominion over all the earth, including the mate that God gave him. Things kind of went sideways, you know.
Yes.
Maybe we would have been somewhere eating fruits and just chilling with no Valentines.
Not working.
And taxes, you know.
You know?
But anyway, that's what under the bridge. But if you think about back then, of course, even up to now, we still think our father, you know, forefather Adam, you know, he really dropped the ball. Because the mandate, you see what I did there, the mandate for a man is very great. Because from the beginning of time, God created man first.
Yes.
Gave him power and dominion and told him, you need to take dominion, take power, be fruitful and multiply. You know, you have all, you know, power over the earth and creatures and all that.
Yes.
Then at that point we dropped the ball, and of course since then we haven't really recovered.
Yeah.
But there have been so many other expressions of lack of proper expressions of manhood and masculinity to date.
Yeah.
That have just sort of like been like a domino or a spiral of that.
Yeah.
And so for me, what I'd like just to ask is that even as we go through this season, and of course there'll be all these things playing around. Yes, there's a men's conference. We're talking about going for prayer and fasting to end COVID-19. That I've seen that so many places, you know, and all the other fun things going around.
Yeah.
On a very serious note, it's important for us to come back and look and see at the relationship level, you know, one-on-one. People are in all sorts of spaces, you know, people who are single and probably searching, people who are single because they've come out of a full circle relationship. Could have been a marriage, could have been a long relationship or engagement. And I'm talking about men here. We're talking about men who are just getting through relationships or just trying to figure out. We're talking about those who are in situationships, you know, talking about those who are in happy, stable, growing, committed relationships and marriages, etc. Wherever you are, so I should be talking to the audience, wherever you are, I feel like this is a good conversation because authenticity, being able to tune with your authenticity and identity is extremely important. Yeah. Despite the pressures. I mean, pressure in the society because of the highly commercialized nature of many of these things, including Christmas, Easter, and other things, sometimes gives us a standard, and of course the celebrity popular culture gives us a standard which sometimes we can't really achieve. Yeah. And so for me, my call is for you as a man to just see how can I be authentic? How can I tune into my true identity? Yeah. And so I just want to talk about a very short acronym, which is real man. Real man. And if time allows, we'll throw in fine, real fine. Okay. We never really say, fine man. We say fine young man. So I think after some point, when men begin to become a bit older, I don't know if the fineness disappears.
The fine goes.
You know, we say a fine lady, a fine young girl, but we say fine young man, you know. This is a fine young man. I don't know what usually happens. So let me just quickly jump into what that means. Okay. The first thing about being a real man and a real fine man is rejecting passivity. Passivity is one of the biggest destiny killers for men. Okay. Starting from Adam. Think about it. Where was he? when his lady was being spoken to by a certain creature, and you know how that story went.
Yes.
And of course, when she came and told him this is the thing, he's like, okay, passivity. He didn't question, he didn't process, he didn't say no, God said. That's passivity. And passivity, and I know in this week, one of the biggest fights or causes of fights would be passivity.
Okay.
You're supposed to, like this famous or infamous acronym, DTR, define the relationship.
Yes.
But you will not do it.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say, let's now go to the next level. Let's get engaged. Let's get married. Let's get a house. Let's do this. So there's something that creeps up, and it's a very dangerous thing for men, which is passivity. Okay. So as a man, it's very natural to slip into it and just let things, including our leaders in the nation and society.
Yes.
The first thing to do as a man is to really reject passivity. No matter what.
Okay.
Be proactive, stand up. Even if you're stuck, you're out of a job, your business is not easy, do what you can do. And of course that comes in parenting. Are you participating in the children with the schoolwork? Are you in the discipline process? etc, etc, etc. Passivity is a major struggle for many of us men, and I'm saying it as a reality because it's much easier to just sit and let things
it's like let's not rock the boat.
There you go. Just wing it. So rejection passivity. Second thing is you need to be an encourager. Okay. Now that's not easy because many times we get discouraged and we're broken down and put down by life. Yeah. Maybe your bank balance isn't looking great. Maybe it's your career path is not looking good. Business is not doing well. Maybe even your mate or partner is even doing better than you. But how can you, because of that role, remember the 3 Ps. Yes. You're a priest, you're a protector, and you're a provider. Yes. And that doesn't necessarily even have to be materially. How can you be an encourager even when you're not doing too great? Okay. And can you start with encouraging yourself? Encourage yourself. Yes. Because just how I show up as a man, as a father, and we all come from a man, destinies and lives of so many other people are affected by how I even just carry myself. Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen, and it's not a pretty sight, a man who is completely broken, doesn't inspire much confidence. No. And so sometimes I just need to be able to pick myself up, face the brutal reality, face the brutal facts of everything not being okay, and say, we're going to be able to get better. Yeah. Things will get better. Okay. And I encourage my children, I encourage my spouse, I encourage my team at work, Yeah. And so to be seen as an encourager is a very, very important quality of a man. Not passive, but also very encouraging, Okay. Accepting responsibility. Big one. Okay. This one, we could probably spend the whole day
here talking about it.
And so I don't want to, And accepting responsibility, I'll just touch on one or two things. Okay. There are very many common ones, around things that go wrong in relationships, go wrong in businesses, go wrong in society. It's very important to be courageous, and there's something we do in one of our models, which is called the leadership circle, which is called courageous authenticity. Okay. And courageous authenticity is being real and bold and courageous to say things which are not easy to say, including accepting liability.
I'm sorry I did this. Yeah,
I dropped the ball here. We did do great this quarter. We didn't do great this last school term. We didn't do great, whatever it is. Yes. And I want to take responsibility for that. Obviously, I wasn't the person on the floor. If you're in a bank, I wasn't the teller, maybe who did this or that. I wasn't the player on the field. I'm a football manager. But I, as a leader, put in the position that I'm put in, want to bear the utmost responsibility, and say that this didn't go well. And of course, if you go down to the relationship level, there's so many things. Of course, we have damning statistics of about, I hear about now 5 in 10 or 4 in 10 children today are being brought up by single mothers, meaning there are a good number of men who are not taking responsibility. Yes. And so this is a big conversation which can go on and on and on. Accepting responsibility and just taking it up. And I talked about courageous is leading courageously. Yes. So I won't talk too much about that. Leading courageously is important, and courage is not necessarily being very strong and bold. Courage is sometimes being able to face adversity, face a very, very, very a giant, and accept this is a giant, and it would take us down. But we have to be courageous, and there are many giants. We've had the pandemic, we have even just economic issues, we have had tribalism, name it. There are many things in our society that sometimes even corruption look like they're actually going to defeat us. Yes. But as a father, I'm speaking as a father, and as a husband, as a leader in society, I have to be able to still inspire hope in the people I lead, even in the organization I lead, and even people I work with, our organizations we partner with, that it's possible to make a change, to do something different. So I want to pause there and catch my breath.
Yes, like what?
Unreal.
But unreal. So reject passivity.
Reject passivity.
And be an encourager.
At all times.
Accept responsibility. And
lead courageously.
Lead courageously.
Very, very important. In fact, even if I just stop there, I feel like that's a really good place to be. I just continue to be real. And of course, yes, it's a word play. It's an acronym. Yes. But just being a real man, being an authentic man, means that you have an identity that is beyond the things. We have lots of things that give us identity, especially men. We get toys, you know, you have a fancy car, you know, you dress well, or you have a good bank balance. Yes, it could be your mate, you know, it could be where you stay, whatever it is. That's all great. Those are blessings God has given you. However, that is not your identity, because things happen in life, including your physical stature and health, where any and all of those things, and there's a project I'm working on, I think I mentioned last time on the book of Job. It's called The Job Journey. And it talks about a person who was the richest and most successful man who ever lived. Then literally everything was stripped away. Does that man stop to be the man?
No.
Absolutely no. So your identity needs to be something much higher than the things that you have. And so those even, let me say, your identity in terms of who God created you to be, and these, let me say, adjectives and verbs, the doing words, you know, rejecting your passivity, being an encourager, accepting responsibility, living courageously, is not tied to our status, you know. It's actually tied to our identity, who I am.
The question would be, what is the difference between being a good man and being good at being a man?
Wow. So I'm going to speak about the first, being a good man.
Yes.
And that's a very, so I'll be careful about it.
Okay.
Because the Bible says that, you know, that rarely will people even, I think, give their life for, I think, a good man. I'm actually not getting it right. But when I'm trying to talk about the word a good man is almost like an urban, not an urban legend. I'm not saying there are no good men, and I speak even counting myself in that, because we are all sinners and we are all broken. It's actually by God's grace that we are able to stand. And I think the word of God says that rarely would even someone do something even for a good man. And so it's almost like a proverbial good man, a good man. So maybe that good man and is a little bit hard to, not say define or find, because like I said, it's hard to be a man. So leave alone being good at being a man.
But just being a man.
But there are things which sometimes make us get those tags of he's good at being a man. He's a man's man. He's a guy's guy. He's a guy's guy. You know, he's macho. Maybe he has a nice bike. He's a gym type of guy, or maybe he can wrench. He can fix a car. He can fix things in the house. That's great. Sort of like what I'd say, society's contract, based on how society is constructed, great descriptions of what manhood is.
But they're still titles. That is away from being like a man. Yes.
And so, and even there's a song, I think the Kolo sang, and of course when he came on the other side and said his gospel career, he talked about, you know, mwanaume. He has a song called Mwanaume, and he says mwanaume ni kujua Yesu. Because the only true and full man, he's actually the second Adam, who came basically to replace the first Adam who fell short of a standard. And so he was fully man and fully God. And so for the only way for me to be a good man is to be fully man, or rather just to be able to get into whatever identity God created me to be as. And then now to allow God to come into me, right? And completely take over my thoughts, my will, and my emotions, my soul. Why? Because the thoughts of a man translates, and not just a man, of any person, translates to their beliefs. And their beliefs translates to the actions. And the actions repeated become habits. Habits repeated become destiny. So it's really to just allow a higher power to come in and completely consume the internal operating system. Because that's where, when you see things happening in society, they don't start there. You know, things you see in the news, on the roads, out there in social spaces, in families. It's not, it starts from what's going on in here and in here. So the best thing I can do is the software thing. Because in of myself, it's been proven, and there's enough history, you know, from, like I said, the beginning of time, to show that we will fall short. The only definition of a man, true definition of a man, is from the Creator. You know, and even the first man who had a very close relationship with God, and even many who came after, including Abraham, David, Moses, still fell short. And the only level and way to get to perfection is through a very close relationship with God. Perfection of God. Not that I'm a perfect man. I will still fall short. And so for me, I'd say a good man is a man who's actually broken and submitted to accept that I don't know, I don't have the script.
And to be real with himself.
And to be real with himself. And to be authentic. I don't have it all. I don't have the script. You know, I'm actually just trying to figure it out. But I think what I do know is I know who I am and who created me. I know who matters, and what matters to me, my spouse, my children, my family. I know what I need to do. I need to protect. I need to do whatever it is I can do to provide, you know. And I need to be able to profess, because the words that I have, I've been given a tongue, which is much more powerful than even maybe anybody else in my family. That there are words I can speak to my child that will call out greatness in them. I can speak to my spouse. I can speak to a situation. You know, that's why even when a thief comes in the night it's the man who's supposed to go check. Because this is your space, you know?
Yes,
and you can actually declare, this is my bomber.
Yeah.
What is this that's coming out? And in the physical sense, but also in the spiritual sense. Okay. Because there are many attacks that can come into your family, into your business, into your life.
Yeah.
And as a man, you need to be able to take that position. And from the traditional setup, men always were those who would, like guard the gates. Or when there's an issue with wild animals, whatever it is, even now in the parks and the reserves with the Maasai community, it's still there.
It's still
and
happening.
So it's to take on that very simplistic approach to what being real is. Real from your creator, real at the family level and society level, and real in just giving what people want. People don't want a lot.
No, they don't.
Yes.
So, George, what would be your message this Valentine's to men? And then we started there with the pressure that comes with all of that. And you've talked about authenticity. And sometimes when a man is, rejects passivity and decides to speak up, they will be like, tajiski, Valentine's kwini ni yake, si Valentine's ni yangu, si anafaa kunijenga mimi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what would be your message as we come to the end of this conversation to, men out there who are feeling probably under pressure to perform in a certain way according to society?
Wow, okay. So I think what I'd say is just, like I said, be authentic. Because first of all, you need to be able to live your life in a way that you can actually sustain. Don't try and, if you're dating, for instance, don't try and create a facade that you can't sustain. Don't borrow money. Don't do a very grand gesture which you can't sustain, Of course, also don't just, don't try and gloss over it.
Yeah.
Do something nice, do
Yeah.
something special. If the person, what I said, and that's how I ended up where I am in terms of making a decision to settle down with Faith, and thank God for the amazing life we've been able to build together, and the blessings that have come. I think when you meet someone and you know this is the one,
yes,
you don't waste time. The same way, because for one, there are not too many people created on this earth, so to speak, who are the one. And you do everything that is within your power. This is my message to men out there. You do everything within your power to win that person over. And when you get that person, and continue to get that person, you don't just get passive. Every day you need to do everything in your power to continuously sustain that relationship.
Oh my
in fact, the work is sustaining.
Yes.
It's not in the winning over.
Winning, yeah.
And it's amazing when you see couples who have been together for 50 years. They have grown old and great together, and they're just like literally two peas in a pod.
Oh my goodness. I love that you talk about that, and thank you for coming. I have to make sure that I say that just so you know that your time is over, because this is sort of like seamlessly ties in with our next guest. We have Daddy Mato and Koku Luanga coming in after this conversation. And I am happy that we are talking about this on this day, so that men know that you can be whatever it is that you choose to be, and you don't have to fall into a certain system just because it's expected of you. This is Full Circle with Mikali. Asante sana. Social media, tafadhali kabla ni kuache uende, George, sindio?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so cool. George Ngoge on Instagram, on Facebook, of course, but we also have dev training on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Check us out, connect with us. We are happy to do something even for your team as an organization, to see how we can be able to have more conversations about this authenticity and realness. That's all we need to be. Just be real and authentic. Okay. Nothing more.
Great. And Full Circle.